you haven't gathered by the title already, today I'm going to be answering some of my most answered pregnancy questions. Total baby brain moments as soon as we start the video. I'm asked, not answered. Moving on. The first question is, am I ready to be a mum of 3? And quite honestly, no. I am so nervous. Like, the transition from 1 to 2 wasn't too bad, but 2 to 3 scares me a little bit. I have heard horror stories, like going from 0 to 1 is hard, but also going from 2 to 3 is usually quite difficult. So I've heard, so I'm a bit like, oh, what have I got myself in for? So yeah, definitely not ready. Definitely not ready. And as for like baby products and stuff, I am so unorganised this time round. With Lara and Logan, I had my hospital bag ready at this point. I had everything I needed for the baby. Definitely unorganised this time. I haven't got a hospital bag ready, nothing for myself, and the baby has minimal. It's got what she needs, but it is minimal. So yeah, no, I'm not ready to be a mum of 3, and just saying that, it sounds weird. So the second most common question I get is, when did I find out? So I found out on, I think, the 17th of January this year. I was exactly 3 weeks. It was a very obvious line, and how I found out was I took the test because I nagged Johnny. I just had a gut feeling. I was like, I need to go take a test. I didn't even miss my period or anything by this point. I just felt there was something not right. So I went and got a pregnancy test. I took it and turned it over. He then went into the bathroom after 3 minutes and then looked and told me the result and was like, oh no. Oh no. Not the result we was wanting, but yeah, so it was a shock, but I just knew before I took that test. I was like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me it's come back positive. Which leads to my second most common question is, was she planned? No. In fact, out of all the 3 pregnancies I've had, only one of them has been planned, which was Lara. So Logan was a surprise baby and this is a surprise baby. But yeah. So the next question is, how has this pregnancy been different to my past 2 pregnancies? This pregnancy has been smooth actually, overall. So at the very start it was a bit rocky. So when I got to about 9 weeks I was rushed into A&E as I thought I was having an ectopic pregnancy. Obviously, luckily I haven't. There was no baby showing on the scan that I had in A&E, and then 24 hours later at a different hospital, there she were, measuring 9 weeks, all nice and healthy. Just she had something called a subchronic hematoma, which is like a bleed around the baby. I luckily didn't bleed out, and that bleed is now gone on the other scans that I've had during pregnancy. So yeah, that just disappeared, and she's been looking healthy on scan. She's a very active baby, and overall it's just gone smooth. Which I'm kind of glad, because the midwife appointments with this baby has been non-existent. I had a face-to-face midwife appointment at 8 weeks, phone call appointment 16, haven't heard anything, and then I've just seen one face-to-face at 33 weeks, which was lovely. I'm thinking that's just to do with it being my third child and the fact that we're in a pandemic. A lot of women are missing out on appointments, but so far so good. Luckily I have had a very healthy, risk-free, smooth pregnancy. With Lara, if you watched my previous videos, she was quite dramatic. I had a few bleeds, reduced movements with her. She was a stressful baby to carry. And Logan, again, he was easy to carry, so this pregnancy has been very, very similar to Logan's, which I'm happy with. Similarities with like cravings, which is another question I get asked, is like, have I had any cravings? Yes, I've had cravings with every pregnancy. So with Logan, it didn't hit me until later on. I craved fruit and mints with him. Again with Lara, the first thing I craved with her were Cocoa Pops, and then I went on to chicken and maple syrup, and then I went off it, and I'd live off fruit, mints, and then I craved cleaning products with her, and I ate chalk. It was a really weird pregnancy with her, but with this one I've craved normal stuff. So Oh, pardon me. I've got reflux with this baby so far. I'm hoping that means that she might have some hair, but it's just an old wives' tale. It's probably how she's laid. So with this one, again, sour sweets, fruit. I'm enjoying salad. I don't eat a lot, but I actually have learnt to love salad in this pregnancy, which is probably doing me a world of good. What else was I craving? They're not strong anymore. Like, my cravings have just kind of gone non-existent, but they've been really strong throughout the pregnancy with like sour sweets. I like to the point I needed them. Fruit. What else did I crave? I've not craved anything weird so far. I love McFlurry and chicken nuggets as well. That has been another craving. A milkshake. I love my milkshakes in this pregnancy. But yeah, craving wise, they've all been pretty similar. Quite a sweet tooth person when I'm pregnant. I have gone off tea again. So at the start of this pregnancy, I couldn't touch caffeine whatsoever, which did me good because it didn't actually affect how tired I were. And then I liked it through the second trimester, and then now I'm back into the third. I'm like, oh, it's not great with me. She doesn't like it. I really don't like coffee at the moment, which makes me sad because I love my ice frappes. But yeah, I'm just more of a milkshake person and juice at the moment. But it was the same with Logan and Lara. I went off tea and coffee at some point in my pregnancies with them too, so they've all been very similar but quite different at the same time. And carrying on with symptoms is what was my first pregnancy symptom. So my first symptom were the fact that I felt sick, and then soon as I found out I was pregnant, I had morning sickness, which again, that's something that was completely different from my past two pregnancies. I never suffered with morning sickness with neither of them. This baby I did. That settled about 12 weeks, and then it's starting again. I'm not being physically sick, it's just feeling it. So now I'm on to the last stretch. I'm feeling like the first trimester is going to happen all over again. But yeah, other than that, it was just sickness really, headache, and just feeling off and going off my food as well. I hated meat. I went veggie for about 2 months, and then I've started gradually eating it again, but certain smells, like I can eat bacon, but if you're frying it or cooking it, it makes me feel sick. It's weird, but I'll eat it. But I've got off meat again. Like, my mum cooked sausages earlier and went off food, so I clearly have gone off sausages at the moment. Very hit and miss. I decide that I like food one week, and then another week I'm like, nah, not for it, don't want to go near it, it looks disgusting. So the next question is from TikTok, and I'm getting asked why I'm having growth scans. So the reason I'm having growth scans is, one, I've had previous small babies. So if you've followed my other videos, you'll know that I had growth scans with Lara, because Logan was born at £6.8 when he was full term. So he was born at 41 weeks and was £6.8, which is small for that gestation. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. And Lara also born at 41 weeks and she was £6.11. So they're doing it as a precaution, and with this baby I found out I have low papier levels, which is quite commonly known. You carry small with low papier because it's something to do with placenta and blood flow, and baby doesn't get enough. But I've had my most recent growth scan just last week at 33 weeks. She was measuring £3.9, which yes is on the small side, she's on the 4th centile, but that was expected. But placenta wise and baby, absolutely healthy, blood flow is perfect, so it's nothing to do with my placenta to why my baby's growth is restricted. I just think it's because I carry small. I'm small, I'm only 5'2". All my family on my mum's side are really small and they've all carried small, so I mean, it's just genetic, I think. I don't think there's anything wrong with the size. It's just we all carry small babies, and the main thing is she's healthy. I don't mind having growth scans because they get to check everything's fine. I get peace of mind, they get peace of mind, and fingers crossed by doing this I get the birth I want. Fingers crossed. I'm really question. What is my birth plan? I do not have one. I think it's best to go in with an open mind and not plan because you'll end up disappointed. But my ideal birth is to have a water birth. I've always wanted one, but I won't be disappointed if I don't end up getting one. I'm used to just being induced now with pessary. I was with the last two, and if that happens again, I know what to expect, and that is fine. I don't want any drugs. The only one I will accept is Pethidine, and that is really at a push. If I have to have an epidural, I'll accept that if I need a C-section, which is fine, it's expected. But yeah, no drugs, except Pethidine and Gassiner. So I'm going to note that down on my birth plan. So it's not really a birth plan, it's just what I don't want to accept, but I'm happy to go with the flow. And if I can have a water birth, I want one. That's it. So the next question is, how was it finding out the gender this time around? Because with Logan and Lara, they were surprise babies. I didn't find out their gender until birth, which 100% recommend. It is so worth the wait. Finding the gender out this time around, it was nice. I did it for Johnny because I got to stay with the last two, and to help him bond with the pandemic and the lack of scans, paying for that private scan and to find out the gender is kind of helped to an extent with bonding with him. He's not bonded much because he's not been involved in appointments, anything this time, which sucks a little bit, but it's helped me be organised so I can reuse Lara's clothes and get rid of the clothes that we saved from Logan, and we can get organised that way. I can buy a bit of pink, which has been nice. Like, I say pink, she's only got a bit of pink. I'm quite a neutral kind of girl, but like, you know, girly stuff, more bows, matching outfits for her and Lara. But other than that, I wasn't too bothered about finding out the gender. I'm fine with waiting, and I'm a little bit good, just a tiny bit, because now at birth I know what I'm having, and we've not finding out before. That was my motivation to push and be like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what this baby is going to be. Is she going to be a boy? Is she going to be a girl? What they're going to look like? I don't have that this time around. It's just the excitement of seeing what she's going to look like. But we've been more organised this time, and that's been nice. But yeah, it's kind of ruined the birth thing a little bit for me, but I'll get over it. So with me knowing the gender, I have announced a name. She's going to be called Darcy. We have planned the middle name, but I think we just want to be certain because this is Johnny's choice. I picked the first name, he's picking the middle name this time, and we're going to wait to announce at birth because we love two names and we're not sure if we're going to double barrel it or just choose one or the other. So we'll have to wait until birth to find out which name we're going to go for. No hints from me because he doesn't want me to share it, so I have to respect that. But yeah, so if this baby was a boy, we decided that it would have been Woody. When we was at our gender scan, was quite certain that she was going to be a boy, and was like, yes, we're going to call him Woody Woodhead. Such a cool name, which will probably make you laugh if you've been with me on my previous videos, because when I said names we love but won't be using, we had Woody on there and was like, nah, someone's named a dog, it will never ever use it, nah. But no, we fell in love with it again. We didn't care if it was a dog's name. We loved it at the time. Now I look back and I'm thinking, nah, I don't think we'd actually use that. Another possibility would have been Calvin after Calvin Phillips. I think it's a pretty big name to be named after. He's a decent player for Leeds. He played for England, did amazing this season. So yeah, I think we would have either been Woody or Calvin. And if I would have got my way, I probably would have named him Loxley. But they're the three top names that Darcy may have been called if she was a boy. And maybe if we have a fourth, maybe. I don't think we will. I'm feeling pretty done now. 3 is enough, she says. We'll see in the future, maybe. But yeah, if we have a fourth, then, and it's a boy, then maybe we'll use one of them names. I'll never know. But sticking on the baby name thing, before Darcy was pretty certain at a scan would call her Willa. So it was going to be Willa or Woody. And when Nick mentioned the name at our gender reveal and was instantly put off it, I'm really glad now actually, because the names become too common. I know too many girls in my September group that are gonna name their baby girls Willow, and I was just like, nah, I've fallen out of love with it now. It's such a pretty name, but I'm so glad we haven't stuck with it. and I'm so glad that we've used Darcy instead. So another question I get asked often, which is not really a pregnancy question, but I get it a lot in like my pregnancy Q&As and on my lives on TikTok, is am I married? No. No, I am the odd one out. So all my kids share the last name with their dad, and I don't. I know, there's something going wrong here. There's something going wrong, but yeah, no ring on the finger, no plan of weddings yet, on a third child. Will he ever ask the question? I don't bloody know, but no, I'm not married. The last question is there anything different I'm going to be doing with this baby? And yes, there is quite a bit that I'm going to be doing differently. So with Logan and Lara, I breastfed them. I'm planning on only doing that to get my milk. God, I can't get my words out. I'm only planning on doing it for about 3 or 4 weeks until my milk's properly established, and then I'm going to be exclusively pumping, fingers crossed. The pump that I was using with Lara when I did a few bottles of her if she needed to stay somewhere, I reacted really well with. I absolutely love the Mimby pump that I was gifted with her. It's been brilliant. I was thinking of harvesting milk, but unfortunately during this pregnancy my milk has dried up, so I haven't been able to pre-prepare bottles. So fingers crossed, the plan is I'm going to pump so I can get some time to myself, because I will be studying, so I'm going to need some time. I'm going to need some babysitters where they can just take the baby, give her a bottle, no issues, because with Logan and Lara, they didn't take to a bottle and it was a bit of a nightmare. When it came to wanting a break, like I couldn't leave them for a night or anything. It just wasn't working. I had to wait until weaning age, which, yeah, 6 months, it goes by fast, but it just makes it 10 times easier if your baby can take a bottle. Another thing I won't be doing is co-sleeping. I know that is so frowned upon against people. Please don't come at me. I have co-slept with both my kids. It can be done safely. I don't want this to be going to a debate. The reason I'm choosing not to co-sleep this time is I want some space in my bed. I have 2 kids that have co-slept with me and they still come into my bed. So I really don't want a third. I've got a king size bed and I'm getting kicked out of it most of the night. So yeah, this baby, unfortunately, it's just a no-go. They're going in a cot from the get-go. Yeah, it's a no for co-sleeping. I'm so ready to have my own space, and with me planning not to exclusively breastfeed this time, I just don't see the need to co-sleep. So with the last 2 I had a reason. Breastfeed and co-sleeping go hand in hand together. It makes your life easier. This time around I actually have no need for it, so we'll see how that goes. I might go against that and end up co-sleeping and regret saying everything in this video that I plan to do differently, because I might not plan to do anything differently. But yeah, dummies is another one. My other 2 didn't take the dummies. I have got dummies prepared for this one and hopefully she takes them. Fingers crossed. Other than that, I'm pretty much doing everything the same. So it's just feeding's going to be different, sleeping arrangement's going to be different. I'm using sleep bags because apparently now that's the safe sleep thing at the moment. They've stopped recommending blankets, which they've changed from when I had Logan and Lara. Blankets was always recommended. It was foot to cot or something like that, so feet at the bottom of the cot, nicely tightly tucked in with your blanket so they didn't suffocate, no cot bumpers, all that malarkey. But yeah, I'm going to be using sleep bags this time and I've got plenty of them. I bought them with Logan and Lara and never used them, so finally they're going to get some use. Another thing is cloth. I am so excited to use cloth nappies. I planned to use them with Lara and then I moved back to live with my mum and it just wasn't doable. There was too much washing to do, so fingers crossed with Logan potty training and hopefully Lara starting to get out of nappies soon, cloth goes successful. I've got them all ready, I just need to refresh them up, maybe buy a few more, and yeah, fingers crossed cloth goes successful this time, because I really enjoyed doing it for a short amount of time I did with Logan. I loved it. But yeah, cloth is another thing that I'll be doing differently. And I think that's all the questions covered, so I'm going to leave the video here. If you've got any more questions, ask them in the comments or go over to my TikTok and I'll probably video reply to you on there. All my info is in the description, so you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Here, thanks for watching and hopefully I'll see you soon.